all the shows are rigged. There's a quick clip from Ryan Graham going on with Frank Analysis. Once you know that this is going on, I swear it is so easy to start noticing it. Watch Ryan Graham. Even he's reading off a script. No one talks like this. Watch how his eyes go from left to right. Very methodical in life. Started observing all of these people for possible drug use. Eventually I started to notice that all these shows are scripted and they're reading off of machines.
When people were pulling their money, like they were withdrawing, like let's say they gave $50 to Booker and they'd ask for a refund because of the March for Medicare for All. They would then post that on Twitter. You could call that, you can say, okay, maybe that's not an organizer. That's just a person who's supportive of the march. Presumably that person cares enough that they're organizing in their community, but we don't know that. That's somebody who's supportive of Medicare for All march. They're asking for a refund. They're posting an image of their refund. The Medicare for All main account was then giving the eyeball emojis to each one of those. And we can pretend that that's just an emoji. Don't worry about that. That's nothing. It's just silliness. No, come on, be serious. Like, that's encouraging. That is the main account, encouraging supporters.
Well, aside from that, like,
so then separately, I interviewed two Medicare for All organizers on the show and gave them every opportunity to promote the march. It was not like a behind a paywall video. So like those are the two things I did. So first thing was honest, which was then lied about. Like, I think we should acknowledge that. Like, the Medicare for All main account was encouraging, with those silly eyeball emojis, people to ask for refunds against Charles Booker. And then that was the only claim I make. Like, people were dragging Charles Booker for not showing up for the march. Here's why he says he can't come to the march. And then then people are going to spend days coming after me. I do think people need to think about their priorities.
But do you understand why?
Tim Black is in on it. There are fake fights going on everywhere. Since the Malou came under fire, you can only alienate so many people until there's no one left to watch, to care about, to trust. So Tim Black comes on, and now since I've figured out that they're using teleprompters and apparently the white print on the black background, now Tim Black is putting up the teleprompter stuff. I've seen this on a few other shows before, but I didn't document it. I'm starting to notice them slip in to put in what they're reading onto the screen as if it's normal. That's the next step. That's the next idiotic use of plausible deniability. That first, well, they're not reading off the teleprompters. Or if that idea ever takes hold, it'll be, of course they're reading off the teleprompters. So that's the scenario. That's what's going on. I finally figured out all those shows are scripted, and that this is an easy way for us to surveillance them, to counter them, to expose them as fakes, to expose everyone and everything as rigged. It's crazy but true. This is all true. You can see it. You can see it by observing. You can also see it in their eyeglasses. Sometimes you can see it reflected off of their glasses. So a comment came in on one of my older videos on Aunt BB. So I took a look at that to see what was up. I noticed some activity in Aunt BB's glasses. I'll put a bit of that up here. The problem with Internet COINTELPRO is they are too big for whatever they think they're accomplishing. They have too much of an influence on the big picture. They're supposed to only be targeting nut jobs. It's only supposed to be someone like a Hal Turner going after neo-Nazis. It's only supposed to be a Reddit conspiracy to go after those people, a BitChute, a this or that, targeting specific types of people. They're not supposed to actually become players. So not only is it bad enough the military has all this control and they're spying on every single one of us through supercomputers and whatnot, for lack of a better word. They have control of business, police, government, corporations. This is called fascism, for lack of a better word, at this point in this video. Fascism is when there's really no separation between military and government. It's tough to see, but at times one can see Aunt Bibi a reflection in her glasses. One can see the black box. It's very difficult to see, but there's a weird black box reflecting in Aunt Bibi's glasses. This is called an ecosystem. It's mind-boggling how many people are involved. The last thing I want to point out is the clickbait part of this. I'm stepping forward and I'm going to claim a new scoop that Ron Placone is Jimmy Dore's love child. There's some sort of genetic match going on between them. I noticed stuff. I'm into the second half of my life. I finally figured out I have Asperger's and I'm using it to my advantage. I taught myself how to sing. I taught myself how to think. I taught myself how to live. I didn't really teach myself those things. It's more like everything has come together. One reason I may keep covering this ecosystem is because it's become so easy to download the videos. I put up a public service type video a week or so, two ago, something. I'm not good with dates. There's something called the VLC Media Player. It makes it really easy to find the download address for YouTube videos. So that's why I'm keeping at it. If I watch these shows and I notice something, it's just too easy to download it. So right here, I'll put in a little bonus material. I noticed Jenna Beck has one of those fancy chairs that others have. So I'm going to assume, based on her interaction with children in her adolescence, is probably the better word. She's had awkward, cringeworthy interactions with adolescents in her neighborhood. It looked real. She had video. They were they're pro-Reagan, pro-Trump. She's the DNC from the Bernie side. And there she is with one of those fancy chairs that seems to pop up with ecosystem actors. She came out of nowhere. She's apparently associated to Tim Black. That's a bad look for Tim Black. Tim Black has a really shady past. Just because he sounds good doesn't mean he's legit. He seemed to be associated with Jenna Beck. And then we see how Beck was close with Fiorella Pasta. And now we know there's all these fake fights. And there's that thing. So I just wanted to show that the Jenna Beck lady has the same chair, one of those chairs. It's another one of those coincidences. Like, look at how similar Placone looks to Jimmy Dore. They got the same face, the same smile. I'm calling that a genetic match. I'm calling everything rigged and fake. Those fights are fake. Those shows are fake. Ryan Grimm was reading off of a teleprompter. If we came together in regards to them reading off of scripts, I'm sure it's easy to prove. It's easy to get into their heads and to let them know. Then it just throws off their game. They're not Robert De Niro and Meryl Streep. They're not real actors. So they can't get away with it. So follow the eyes. Start going beyond the surface of everything. You will gain freedom. I promise you that. I promise everyone that. I did some more cleaning today. I have had great days. I went several days without adding a new video. I looked through some of my archive and I think it's pretty good. I think I got the message out. And this is only the last 3 years. I made videos at the other place before YouTube and at my blog, DFQ2. So it's been about 3 or 4 years I've made videos. 3 years? I don't know. It's a blur. I don't want to overstate my case as a video maker. I know how people in the ecosystem keep trying to turn, like they showed up, some of them showed up 2017. They're trying to, like a Manitalk, 2016, in Redneconomics, they try to stretch it out like into 8 years. So you go from 4 years to 8 years really quickly. They want credibility, but it can't be had. Like that guy Plonkinen showed up 2 years ago. So I think in conclusion, I'll just say they are forming points of departure where they want them to start. They get too big for their britches. Is that the phrase? They get too big for what their purpose is. They get greedy. They get arrogant. It's a bureaucracy within their military divisions. They tried it in the past. There was the church committee. It's as if that never even happened. So now they're doing this nowadays with even more effort, more totality, to study us, to study all the electronics. This has all been proven by Snowden. It was leaking out here and there and everywhere before Snowden. They were all reading off teleprompters. That's my scoop. They're all scripted. There's no democracy. There's no such thing as democracy. It was a hoax. We didn't realize it. It was a much better hoax. Now it's transparent that it was a hoax. Now it's so easy to get people to see they're reading off teleprompters, that they're fake. I'm saying that's the only reason to watch these people anymore. I've given up on all of the medium. Not all of it. I listen to music. I'll do what I have to do for trying to be alive and not a zombie on the internet. Not just soaking in like we soaked in TV. But this is my warning. This is my message to the future. This is my warning to the present. All of this internet in regards to politics, discussion, etc., it's all fake. Even the best, most pure stuff is conformist. So that's that. That's my message for both future and present. There's no such thing as going back in time. It's not possible due to laws of physics. Okay, this is the Man Who Sold the World. I'm listening to the Nirvana version. We passed upon the stair. We spoke of was and when, although I wasn't there. He said I was his friend, which came as a surprise. I spoke into his eyes, I thought you died alone, a long, long time ago. Oh no, not me. We never lost control. Your face to face with the man who sold the world. I laughed and shook his hand and made my way back home. I searched for form and land. For years and years I roamed. I gazed a gazeless stare. We walked a million years, I must have died alone, a long, long time ago. Who knows? Not me. I never lost control. Your face to face with the man who sold the world. Who knows? Not me. I never lost control. Your face to face with the man who sold the world.